Hello, everybody. I'm Jason,
And I'm Sam.
and welcome back to Doctor Who.
Controversial.
So today we're going to talk about the return of
Of
Donna.
Noble.
Yes. Um, so I think maybe start the episode off with our feelings on Donna generally
Yeah,
as a companion.
yeah,
So for me, probably one of my favourite
yeah.
companions. I felt the whole
Mm,
Tennant, the series four Tennant,
mm.
uh, Tennant Tate um, duo,
Dizzy.
yeah, it worked very well. And I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. And with you, it's
Uh, I have a bit more of a interesting connection with Donna as a companion in that it's kind of, in a sense, bland, with a few sort of veiled iffy bits. Where it's like, and this way I'm quite interested in your point of view on series four. 'Cause, uh, what I think they were trying to do with Donna's character was show someone who uh, generally didn't really have that much appreciation from her mother, definitely. So don't
yeah,
know that father.
yeah,
Very much had a much better relationship with her grandfather than her mother,
yeah.
and so because of that is very bolshy.
Hmm.
But and I think for me, where there's a disconnect with me with Donna as a character, and why I want to get your opinion on it because it might actually frame my thinking on this, is that throughout the series, that bulkiness never sort of changes. It's always sort of still there in a sense. So it's like throughout the series, he's still very bolshy with people, even at times when necessarily he won't be.
I
Because there's a bit in Silence of the Library. I think it's Silence of the Library. Or is it? It might be First of the Dead. Can't which one of them it is. But River Song's sort of saying that he has this quite relationship with the Doctor. And Donegal goes, well, do you know him or don't you, in a very bolshy way? And it might be just poor directing, or it might just be a poor way of interpreting. But it's like that feels like a moment where, particularly because of how Donna acts with other people, it wouldn't feel like a very bolshy moment to be very bolshy with someone. And it's
I
just like, and I just feel like that to me kind of undermines Donna as a character to me in connecting fully.
so from my perspective, yes, I think her mother plays a part in it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's about her mother. I think it's about her confidence. I
right.
think she is because of the fact that she says things like "I'm just a temp from Chiswick,"
Yeah, so
that kind of thing.
that
She's
will
she
actually
is
make
very
sense.
much she pushes herself down, and the
Yeah,
doctor has to say to her many times, "You're important."
yeah,
Constantly telling her that, and I think it's somebody who is extremely
yeah,
self-conscious of
yeah,
themselves that puts themselves down and doesn't see herself
yeah,
for the brilliant person she is. Even Rose says to her
yeah,
in Turn Left
mm,
that you're amazing. That
yeah,
the whole world, the whole universe is centering around you, and
yeah,
she really doesn't believe that
mm,
she's worth being with the Doctor.
yeah.
So I think any threat to that becomes her being vultured, and I think that's
Right.
where it comes
That
from. It's a
that
self-conscious thing.
right. That makes it make more sense.
Yeah, and I think she's scared constantly of losing the Doctor, of the fact that he
Yeah.
will at some point realise she
Right.
is just in her view, a temp from Chiswick, and why would he want her? Why is she?
Yeah.
You've got to remember Rose as a companion
Mm,
was young, so
okay.
therefore automatically a lot more vivacious
Yeah.
and hadn't really been beaten down. And also her mum had built her confidence up.
Yeah.
They were a very confident duo of people.
Yeah.
She got a very mundane but a very
Yeah.
full life
Yeah.
before, and where and Martha was a doctor, so
Yeah.
she was already on her way to becoming something
Yeah.
bigger anyway.
Yeah.
I, you've also got to remember she went from with the whole situation with the episode she was first in,
Yeah.
um, losing a husband and finding out that her husband
Yeah.
was a bad
Yeah.
person. Um, so she'd had that on top of the fact that I think she already was quite an insecure
Yeah.
person. Also, from a character perspective, I do think they were going down the route that that's the way Catherine Tate plays a lot of characters, and
Yes.
she has in her own show.
Yeah. That was. I think that was another thing that for me probably got in the way of seeing parts of the characterization was it felt very much Catherine Tate being Catherine Tate.
Yeah, and it was it was that. But I think it can fit, and
Yeah,
I think I think it probably what you were feeling was that being pushed into that, and I think
yeah,
Russell T Davies had done that.
yeah,
It gone be yourself.
yeah,
We want Catherine Tate as Donna Noble,
yeah,
or Donna Noble played by Catherine Tate. However
yeah,
you want to put it, we want it to
yeah.
be a Catherine Tate character.
That would make sense because
But
with all your companions in RTV's time, first time, because it's always because from people who worked on both with RTC and Stephen Moffat said that RTC generally has a much stronger way of understanding the companions, whereas with Stephen Moffat it's much more stronger on the Doctor.
yeah,
And and with every other companion, I've always been able to get a very clear understanding of them.
yeah.
With Donna, I never have until we started with you there, and it does make sense now.
I think he also needed a Bolchi companion
Yeah,
at that point as well to speak up for him at
yeah,
times and speak to him and tell
yeah,
him he was wrong
yeah,
and stand up for the human race at times, like the Shadow
yeah, yeah,
Proclamation.
and uh, Pfizer Pompey
Yeah,
being
yeah. She's his
basically,
conscience, and the reason why
mm,
she's his conscience is because she's insecure and
yeah,
because she is caring and she is.
yeah,
And I think all of it comes from a place of insecurity for her, but
yeah,
extreme caring for other people,
yeah,
but being very unaware of everything's going on around her.
yeah, and I'm very glad we did get Donna Noble and not the initial idea for the Series 4 companion, which was a companion called Penny, who was, again, someone who was a bit older. But the initial idea was the Doctor meets her and falls in love with both hearts.
Right.
So,
I'm really glad that didn't.
yes.
So different views. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know whether you've now changed your views
Yeah,
slightly
my
on
views
this.
are a lot better now. And it was. And
I
it
was
was.
guessing you were quite young when you first watched.
I would have been 9 going 10.
Yeah, so
So,
you're talking now
yeah.
20 something.
Yeah.
So it's
So, yeah.
different
And
times
it's like, and it was like I said, I could always tell that there was bits there, but I couldn't get clarity on them.
on why those things were
Yeah,
happening.
which is
I
why I
can
think I
see
had
why
that.
if you
Which is
didn't.
why I had that disconnect
Yeah,
there.
I can see why if you didn't see it as that,
Yeah,
if you hadn't made that connection for
yeah.
whatever reason.
Which is why when you said talking about Don, I thought, oh, this will be interesting. Because I knew
Yeah,
because you've mentioned that you really liked Don, so right, this will be interesting because I might actually.
ironically, I felt she lost that bolshiness when in her return anyway. So but I
Yeah.
enjoyed. Before I say any of what I'm about to say, I
We see.
and I think both of us enjoyed Donna in the 60th.
Yes.
In some ways, I actually enjoyed Donna more than I did having Tennant back,
Yeah.
but I wish they hadn't done it.
Yeah, and it was very much for me a sliding scale of the more she was in it, the more it sort of began to unravel.
Yeah, well, so she's not really. She doesn't really play that much of a character in it, and she's not a main part in it in the giggle really.
Yeah,
Um, but I wish they hadn't done it.
yeah,
Donna for me being for a long time,
mhm.
and still to an extent one of my favourites. I've got multiple favourite companions, so
Yeah.
pick.
You tried picking one before, and then like, no, maybe this one.
Yeah, there's three or four where it's I really like them. Donna's at the top of those favourite one. I don't really know. I don't really know, but she was my favourite for a long time.
Yeah,
Because the other companions had become my favourite over time, whereas she was as I was watching it. And the same with David Tennant. I felt like it had ended for
yeah,
me, and more so than any other character in Doctor Who. I
yeah,
felt like it was over with Donna, and that was
yeah.
it. And the last time I would have seen her was in the one
End of time.
End of Time, which I wasn't overly pleased with seeing her in that anyway.
Yeah,
But at least there were
and I
consequences
know
for
that
that.
before we actually started recording, you said that you didn't like the bit in the end of time where she starts seeing the master again and starts to remember
Yeah,
everything about the Doctor, and then it turns out, oh, it's just that was just a defense mechanism that I put in place.
yeah. So there was no
Yeah,
need for Donna to
but
be in it,
yeah,
even though
yeah. Or there's that bit at the beginning where Wilf is trying to get the Doctor to go up to Donna because he wants Donna to remember, so she'll
yeah,
be like she was.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and
That was fine.
that I think that works because it's alluding back to it, but it's not actually.
Yeah, but actually having her
Yeah,
have consequences for it, but at least there were consequences.
yeah,
So it wasn't changing the fact of
yeah,
what had happened. Um, for me, as much as I loved the binary situation, I loved all of it from a theatrical perspective.
Yeah.
I think it was clumsily done, but that's a whole different point. And actually, that's probably something we
Is
do
this
need to do a video on.
Star Beast or
Star Beast. So
right?
so on
Just to
return.
clarify, we are now talking about the Star Beast.
Yes. So now on the return of Donna, the fact that she, for me, if she ever saw the Doctor again, it would have been she would have died.
Yeah.
Um, it was the hardest death or end of a
End of companion.
yeah, because I said goodbye to her completely, and I
Yeah.
cried over Donna.
Yeah.
So when she came back into it, I was excited about having Donna back, but I just wish they'd have done something. If they my theory, as I said before we did this
Yeah.
video, and I've only just kind of thought of this, it would have been better if she had the meta crisis situation had happened and she'd died in his arms when she was
Yeah.
there. That would have been a lovely thing to have happened, as lovely as a death would be. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd been a lovely way
Yeah.
to end
It would
it.
have been a nice way to end Donna as a character
Yeah, and then have Rose
because
potentially go and be the companion
yeah,
would have been a potential.
and it's again from what you were just saying about Donna being someone who's lacking confidence, all this and the other. It would be very much her actually having confidence in saying that I need to remember you because we know that I need to be this in order for us to resolve this, and then but that will be it. I will be dead after this,
Yeah,
and that would sort of be a nice way to tie off that part of the character massively as well, because it's actually having the confidence to go, I can do this.
yeah,
Let me do this.
yeah. Which she did. You
Yeah,
know, she did do
she
that, but
did
it
do that,
didn't
and
really
then
mean anything.
yeah, and then the consequences of that action because at that point in time within the Sabbath, she's like, I will know I won't die from doing this,
Yeah,
and then hang on, Rose is here,
I've separated out
and
into
and now me and Rose can actually hold all the time and space in our heads between the two of us, which has killed the Time Lord.
yeah, which we only just remembered
Yeah.
really that was the case
So
that
it's
it had
like,
killed nine. So
yeah,
it's it just doesn't fit right,
yeah,
and I think it doesn't do Donna's character any justice at
yeah,
all.
and it's also like, where can you really take Donna from there? It's like, it's kind of implied that she's going to be involved with Unit now. It's like, okay, that's not any real development. It's like it is, but it's not actually any change. It's just moving her into a different setting.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't feel there was a necessity to, other than nostalgia, there wasn't a necessity
Yeah,
to bring her back. And for me personally, as much as I enjoyed her in the 60th,
yeah,
especially in Wild Blue Yonder, I really enjoyed her in Wild Blue
yeah,
Yonder. Um, I still think I would have preferred it if it hadn't have been the
yeah,
case, or that she
yeah,
had that had been her end is
yeah.
in the Starbase.
Or what you could have done is instead of having it be immediate, uh, she dies at the end of Starbase, is have it where for some reason it's taking her longer to die,
Mhm.
and have it be either at the end of Wild Beyond or at the end of The Giggle
Yeah,
where it happens.
yeah. So,
So it draws it out.
yeah, so there was, and it needed to have that consequence for me. Otherwise, it meant
Yeah,
that season four ended in a way that wasn't as meaningful. It's actually
yeah,
made season four less meaningful for me,
yeah,
which is a season that meant a lot to me. So
yeah,
now I've the two people who died and two people who had I had a huge emotional attachment to in season four,
yeah,
who both they're both still alive now, and
yeah,
it's kind of made that less impactful. And I haven't watched series four back yet,
yeah,
but I wonder whether when I watch it back, whether it's
yeah,
going to have that same impact because I still got the lump in my throat. Not so much with Donna because
yeah,
after a few times of watching it, I was kind of over it to an extent,
yeah,
upset by it. But the
yeah,
Doctor, his last journey
yeah,
around everywhere and saying I don't want to go,
yeah,
it even saying it used to make make me choke up. Now I can say it. I've just said it
yeah,
then. It doesn't do it. It doesn't make
yeah.
me feel the same way.
It's killed the emotive impact.
Yeah. So it's kind of ruined the series for me rather than added to
Yeah,
the old series. So the nostalgia's there,
yeah,
but at the cost of my emotional attachment to
yeah.
that series. I think.
And and we will be doing the 10th Doctor. Sorry, not 10th Doctor. Crikey.
14th Doctor.
10th Doctor slash 14th Doctor because they
Yeah.
are basically the same
David
person.
Tennant.
Yeah, independent for all intents and purposes. And we will be doing a conversation on him returning, and we'll be doing one on the 60th as a whole.
Yeah.
And that will be very much a conversation around nostalgia and where do you draw the line, how much to put in,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah. But yeah, enjoyed her being there. Just wish it had been different.
Yeah,
If they were going to bring her back, it should have. The consequence should have been the fact that she actually died. In
yeah,
my view, that was it needed to
yeah,
end that way for it to still have the emotional attachment to
yeah,
it.
and it also kind of undermines a lot of other things where it's like it's set up so many other times where like within Road, for example, Doctor can't see them anymore. Oh, can you
Well,
find a way
yeah,
around
can
it
you
now?
find
Because
the
it's like you've literally sidestepped the biggest way that you could possibly ever find to take someone out of the equation as a character, and you just sidestep it
yeah?
really easily.
Because the Doctor can only not go back to go and get Amy and Rory because of a timeline issue,
Yeah,
not because of the fact that it
yeah,
would potentially something
yeah,
would blow up.
and as we know, uh, and given that that came in from the time that Stephen Moffat was writing Doctor, and it was very timey-wimey, and timelines changed all the time.
Yeah,
It's like that is nothing situations like that really shouldn't be able to be changed. But now we've got the whole by generation where all the doctors are now bouncing around to
yeah.
God only help the timelines.
Yes,
Jesus.
exactly. So it has opened up a can of worms that potentially none
Yeah, it's opened
or
up.
any companion can come
Yeah,
back.
it's opened up Pandora's box of situations where it's like,
Yeah, we don't want to get stuck in an
yeah,
endless cycle.
which
Certainly do not want to do that.
if we got which is traditionally what was seen as what killed the original series, so very much do avoid it because it.
The self-indulgence thing
Yeah,
is not good. It's not good. But yeah, really enjoyed Donna both in series 4, but
and
and in the
then
60s.
less increasingly less so in the 60s because of reasons that we've both explained. I now actually have a new appreciation for Donna in series 4, which will mean if we do go back through when we do get around to watching Doctor and go back through series 4, it would very much be interesting to see my
See
thoughts on it.
what your opinion of it is. Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
be interesting. So
but
thank you very much, and
we'll leave it there.
we hope that you'll be listening to us on the next
Again,
one.
thank you and goodbye.